The Marlins have two pivotal World Series games today here with games 4 and 5 on the road in Tampa against the Rays. In the last episode, we played games 2 and 3 and we ended up splitting. The story of this World Series so far has been the brilliant pitching, and that was on display for both teams in game 2. The Rays made the interesting decision to take Shane Baz out of the game early. He was looking dominant through the first few innings. He'd only allowed 2 hits up to that point, but they yanked him early for Luis Patino in a decision that made no sense at the time, and in hindsight, ended up making no sense as the Marlins would score 3 in the 5th, and that's all they would need because Sandy Alcantara ended up throwing 7 scoreless. He looked brilliant on the mound for the Marlins. Sandy's had his fair share of postseason struggles in this series, but over his last 2 postseason starts, he has 14 innings, just allowing 1 run. Game 3 in Tampa Bay against the Rays, we lost 3-2. I don't think we should have lost this game, though, if not for a bad defensive play in the 4th inning by Bo Bichette that basically led to the game spiraling out of control. After Bo Bichette's big error, the Rays scored 2. Their offense really started to play well, which led to Jeffrey Springs being yanked out of the game. And neither offense really did a whole lot after that, and Tampa Bay was able to get the win 3-2. Through the first 3 games of this series, both teams have 7 runs each. That's 2.3 runs per game. That's not a lot. Both offenses have really struggled through the first 3 games, while both pitching staffs look really good. We need our offense to step up. Luis Robert, Woody Landry, Jazz Chisholm, all these star players have to elevate themselves for the biggest moments. And I will say, Woody Landry has had a really good World Series, 5 hits in the last 2 games. But we need everybody else to step up. In terms of pitching, the pitching has been great all October. And in the World Series, it's been no different. But we've got a huge decision to make today with who the hell is going to start Game 4. We've got 3 choices. The first one is Max Meyer, who on paper would be the regular choice considering he's the 4th starter on our rotation. He missed a large chunk of the year and pitched in his first game in 2.5 months against the Cubs, and he struggled. 2 1/3 innings, allowing 4 runs, and the rest of the bullpen shut the door. So it's not even like the Cubs offense was in rhythm. It was just that Meyer really struggled. But with how good of a year he's had, we'd like to think he'd rebound for this next game. We could go with a bullpen game. Jordan Hicks would get the start. And then the final option would be starting Edward Cabrera. And this decision might be a little bit irresponsible because he just threw 8 innings in Game 1 of the World Series. That's only, 4 days rest? Not even. That's 3 days of rest. Would that be fair to him to have him pitch? And if we do start him here, realistically, he's not going to go more than 4 or 5 innings. And if we do start him, we may not have him available later in the series like we would have anticipated. But on the flip side, Cabrera's the NL MVP. He's the best pitcher in baseball. And sometimes you just got to ride it out with your star players. Cabrera got the loss in Game 1, but it was not his fault. We needed him to go as long as he could because our offense didn't give us anything. We've got a really tough decision here. Do we go with Max Meyer? Do we go with a bullpen game? Or do we go with Edward Cabrera? This is definitely the biggest decision we've had to make in this series. Let's find out what the Marlins are going to do. Let's hop into Game 4 of the 2027 World Series. A must-win game for the Miami Marlins, who spent really the entire day deciding who would be their starting pitcher, and it went down to the final minutes on who they would select, but we'll find out who they're going to choose in a minute. Making this decision correctly is going to be absolutely paramount for the Miami Marlins. We trailed 2-1 in the World Series. This is a must-win game. If we lose, we're going to fall 3-1. It's possible that we can make a 3-1 comeback, but the odds are very, very low, and they are stacked super far against us. So because of that, this is not a game we want to lose. We've got to win this one, and we've got to make the right decision with who will pitch. Whoever we're going to throw out there is going to face off against the flame-throwing righty Tyler Glasnow. The most important game of this franchise series thus far, Game 4 of the World Series, must win for the Miami Marlins. The Marlins are going to go with their regular starters, as will Tampa Bay. We'll take a look at Tyler Glasnow, who gets the start for the Rays. In 2 postseason starts, he's been fairly solid, 1-0, 4.26 ERA, 1.11 whip. Glasnow has issues with control and consistency, but he's a flamethrower who strikes guys out at a consistent rate. Case in point, as he gets Isaac Stu, the rookie, to go down looking. Jazz Chisholm rips this one into the gap. That's going to drop for extra bases, and Jazz Chisholm gets a 1-out double here in the top of the first inning. I said coming into this game, the star players needed to produce, and this is a good way to begin. That'll bring up Luis Robert now, the 1-2, and he gets plunked. So there's a free base runner. Robert hit by the pitch. 2 on, 2 away for Bo Bichette, who's ahead in the count, 3-1, and Bichette rips it into right field. That'll drive in Jazz Chisholm, and the Miami Marlins are on the board first. They lead at 1-0. A quick start for the Fish, who knew they had to get things going early, and that's exactly what they do here in the first inning. Hopefully they can get some more. Jesus Sanchez takes a big swing and a miss. He liked that pitch too. Not a bad start though, as the Marlins get 1 off at the single by Bo Bichette. And now it's time to answer the question. Who's going to pitch for the Marlins? They're going to roll with Edward Cabrera. A bold strategy. We're going to risk it for the biscuit, but you know what? This guy's been the best pitcher in baseball this year. MVP, Cy Young. He's had a magical season, and sometimes you just got to trust your superstar players to be given opportunities in the big moments and capitalize. As he strikes out Randy Arozarena to get things started. Realistically, Cabrera is not going to have a normal workload. Ideally, he throws 4 or 5 innings of really solid ball, and his first inning ends up being a pretty good one as Wander Franco flies out to right. It's caught by Jesus Sanchez, and that'll wrap up the first inning. The Marlins lead it 1-0, and Edward Cabrera, on just 3 days rest, looks pretty good so far. Let's move top 2. Alec Bohm leads things off, and he gets hit. There's another one. 2 Marlins have already been hit. I can't imagine this is on purpose because, well, handing out base runners in Game 4 of the World Series sounds like a pretty stupid idea. Jacob Berry hits this one high and deep into the left field corner. Arozarena at the track at the wall. He comes down with it. I thought with that short fence out in left field, that ball had a chance to scrape over, but unfortunately not quite. That'll bring up Nick Fortes, who does not have a ton of hits throughout the postseason, but he has gone deep 3 times. He strikes out on the slider. Good pitch by Tyler Glasnow, looking to try to find a rhythm as he really hasn't looked all that good so far. Isaac Stu is now up for the Marlins, 2-2. Pops this one up. Isaac Paredes, the third baseman, is under it. He will make the play, and Glasnow makes it through the top of the second inning, allowing 1 run, but no further damage is done. Let's go bottom 2. Let's see if Edward Cabrera can continue to pitch well despite, well, the lack of rest. He'll face off against Brandon Lau. Checks his swing. Umpire says he went around for strike 3. Cabrera looking quite good so far. Zach Veen now with a full count, and he draws a walk. The Rays finally get their first base runner of the game. If you were hoping for the magical perfect game storyline, it's not going to happen. Matt Thayes hits this one to the track out in left field, and Berry is under it. That ball had a lot of carry. Again, I thought it had a chance to maybe scrape over, but not quite. Cabrera leaves 1 on as it remains 1-0, and we move into the third. Luis Robert hit by pitch in his first at-bat. Count is 2-2, and he hits this one up the middle. Wander Franco, nice play, and the throw to first is in time. Wander Franco showing off the ball skills. Wouldn't be the first time. Pause. Woody Landry crushes this ball into center field. Back at the track at the wall. It goes off the wall. Woody Landry makes it to second base with a double. Woody Landry's hit right around 500 across the first 3+ World Series games. Again, he's been like the one guy on this offense who's been consistently really good in the World Series, and it's odd timing because Woody struggled in the playoffs prior. Bo Bichette goes down chasing the slider. Great pitch by Tyler Glasnow as he makes it through the top of the third. Bottom 3, Paredes goes down chasing the outside curveball. Great pitch by Cabrera, his 3rd K of the day. Now against Randy Arozarena, who homered against Cabrera in Game 1 of the World Series, draws a walk. Umpire says he did not go around. That'll bring up the center fielder Josh Lowe, who strikes out on the sinker. 3 no-hit innings so far for Edward Cabrera. 3 days rest, No problem. He looks dialed in right now in his pitching at an electric level. Hopefully he can keep it going, though. I wasn't worried about him for the first few innings. It was more so how is he going to do down the line as the game goes along. Jesus Sanchez goes down looking. Great pitch on the curveball by Glasnow. Now facing off against Alec Bohm. He goes down looking on the knuckle curve. That was a great pitch to hit. I think he thought that pitch was going to be high. Didn't expect it to be off speed. 2-2 now for Berry. Grounds this one up the middle. Can Franco make the play again? He does. Tyler Glasnow looked awfully shaky in that first inning, but ever since, he's pitched really well. Game remains 1-0 as we go bottom 4. Full count for Brandon Lau. Checks his swing. Pitch was in the strike zone anyway. Cabrera with, his 7th strikeout of the game? Now against last year's World Series MVP, Alfredo Herrera. The 1-2, and he got him on the curveball. 4 no-hit innings for Cabrera. He's at 73 pitches. I'm not sure how much longer he's going to have left in the tank. Hopefully, at least one more inning. Luis Patino comes in for the Rays here in the 5th inning. Patino has been solid in the postseason, although obviously in Game 2, he was put in a rough situation, and he really struggled. He gets Isaac Stu to chase the circle change, though. Nice pitch by Patino. Full count now for Jazz Chisholm. That ball is high, and that'll go for a walk. The Marlins offense has done virtually nothing since the first inning. Just trying to get anything going here, as that'll bring up Luis Robert, the 2-2. Pops this one up into shallow territory. Matt Theis, the first baseman, waves everybody off as he comes down with it. The Marlins have not scored since the first inning. It really looks like they're going to be dependent on Edward Cabrera to be able to hold on to this lead. Let's go bottom 5 now. The Rays still without a hit today. Cabrera staying in the game, hopefully for at least one more inning. I think he's slowing down a little bit, but he's going to try to push through the pain. Zach Veen strikes out on the fastball, 96. Maybe he's not slowing down. He's still throwing some absolute gas. Matt Theis now, 2-1. Rips this one past the diving glove of Alec Bohm. And the no-hitter is over. It took the Rays over 4 innings to get a hit off of the guy with 3 days rest. That's something. So now Tampa Bay has a runner on base and an opportunity to finally get some runs on the scoreboard. Jonathan Aranda, liner to first. Woody tags the base. Double play. Inning over. 5 scoreless innings for Edward Cabrera. He looks dominant. The plan going in for the game was to have him pitch 5 innings. But with how poorly the Marlins offense has played, he may come out for another inning. Depending on how this inning goes, the Marlins may have an interesting decision with their pitcher. So ideally, the Marlins get some runs in this inning and make it a pretty easy choice for us. Woody Landry draws a walk. Good start. Bo Bichette strikes out. Not a good start. He's chasing the low circle change. Good pitch by Patino. That'll bring up Jesus Sanchez, 3-1. He takes a walk. Alrighty, so the Marlins have 2 base runners and a really nice opportunity to get some more runs across. Alec Bohm is up now, the most clutch hitter on the roster. And he grounds this one into right field. That'll go for a base hit. We're going to hold the runner. That proves to be a good decision. Woody Landry would have been out by a mile. And oh God, the bases are loaded. The Marlins' arch nemesis. Jacob Berry, whatever you do, do not put the ball on the ground. Jesus goddamn Christ. He puts it on the ground. Inning over. 6-4-3 double play. The Marlins leave the bases loaded. Who could have guessed? So with that, Edward Cabrera is going to come back out for the 6th inning. The plan was if we were to score in that inning, we would have gone to the bullpen. But since we didn't, Cabrera is going to stay in the game with a pretty short leash. Isaac Paredes grounds it to first. Landry bobbles it, but he makes the play for out number 1. I cannot believe what I'm watching. Edward Cabrera on 3 days rest just looks dominant right now. He doesn't really look like he's slowing down all that much. Right as I say that, he allows a base hit to Randy Arozarena. 105 off the bat. Tampa Bay with their 2nd hit of the game. All it takes is one big swing, and the Rays are right back in the thick of things. Josh Lowe hits it well into left. Berry under it. That's out number 2. Arozarena was originally trying to steal second base, so now he'll head back to first. That'll bring us to the biggest at-bat at this series so far, and it's Wander Franco. 0 for 14 in the World Series. Just how he likes him. We're going to go through the whole at bat here as Franco swings and misses on the sinker. He's behind 1-2. Can Edward Cabrera make it through the 6th and finish off what would be a historic pitching performance? Franco lines it to first, nearly hits Woody in the nuts, but he comes down with it. That'll wrap up the 6th inning. Folks, I hope you guys enjoyed this showing from Edward Cabrera, because today we got to witness greatness. 3 days of short rest. He comes in and he throws 6 scoreless innings. Will he return for the 7th inning? No, not a chance. We could lose runs this inning, and we're not going to have him come back in the game. Brian De La Cruz in as a pinch hitter. He did not start today. Grounds it up the middle. Good play by Patino. With 2 away, Jazz Chisholm hits this ball well into center. Low at the track, at the wall. It's caught. That ball just kept going and going. I thought it was going to make it over the fence, but not quite. With the Marlins not wanting to turn Edward Cabrera's arm into rubber, they will be taking him out of the game after 6 scoreless innings. He'll be replaced by Reynaldo Lopez, one of the most steady and consistent players really on the entire roster. He's only allowed 1 run so far in 6 1/3 postseason innings, but immediately Brandon Lau crushes into the right center. It goes off the wall. 108 off the bat as Lau is safe at second. That's the hardest hit ball from Tampa Bay the entire game so far, and they finally have a runner in scoring position. Zach Veen, swing and miss on the circle change, and now there's quickly 2 away. Big at bat here for Matt Thaiss, and a huge opportunity for the Rays to tie it up. They've been unable to their first 2 tries with this runner on second. What can they do here as Thaiss hits this one high and deep and a right? If it's fair, it's gone. It's going to be close, and it's barely foul. 1.5 feet, not even, away from the pole as the Marlins dodge an absolute bullet. Grounder to short. Bichette bobbles it. Not again. The throw to first is not in time. And with that, Bo Bichette gets another costly error. Remember the last time this happened? Game 3 directly resulted in the Rays getting 2 additional runs in a game that was decided by 1. His error in Game 3 might have costed the Marlins the game, and it might have just happened again. Full count for Aranda, grounds it to second. Please make the throw, Jazz. Thank God. The Rays held off the scoreboard here in the 7th inning. They had what feels like about 12 chances to score there and didn't. The Marlins dodge a bullet as they hold on to their lead. Into the 8th, Justin Dunn is into the game for the Rays. The 31-year-old righty has not pitched in the postseason. He actually hasn't pitched in a big league game since 2025. That's 2 years ago. Why the Rays are throwing him into a high-leverage situation in the World Series, I don't know. Luis Robert, broken bat. The bat goes about double the distance that the ball does. Good play there by Justin Dunn, who has never thrown a pitch in a Tampa Bay Rays jersey in a Major League game until tonight. Bo Bichette flies this one into the shallow outfield, and it's caught by Thaiss. So Justin Dunn, who has pitched in 4 Major League games over the last 4 years, again, none of which since 2025, just retired the side here in a World Series game. Great. Bottom 8, Camilo Duvall is into the game for the Marlins. 3.38 ERA. That's 3 runs in 8 postseason innings. As Isaac Paredes strikes out on the slider. Great pitch. Fooling him with the outside stuff. That'll bring up Randy Arozarena. Grounds it to short. Bo, I swear to God. Throw to first is in time. Good. We do not need more Bo Bichette errors. He's already been a defensive liability in this World Series. That'll bring up Josh Lowe. He's 0 for 3. 1-2 pitch. Swinging to this on the high cutter. So Duvall makes it through the 8th. 1-2-3. And the Marlins still lead it 1-0. Can they finish off the job here in the top of the 9th inning? Jesus Sanchez leads things off for the Fish. 0 for 2 today. And he weakly pops this one up into left field. Arozarena chases after it. He makes the play with Justin Dunn still in the game. Interesting strategy, but I guess he's looked good so far. That'll bring up Alec Boehm. He's reached base twice today, looking to get back on. On the 1-2 pitch, he grounds this one over to second. Easy play for Jonathan Aranda. The throw to first is in time. The Marlins really might get 1 run this whole game, and they really might win it. Cannot believe that. Here's Austin Wells in as a defensive substitution. Hits it well into center, but it's caught by Lowe. The Marlins have not scored since the first inning, and it might not matter. They lead at 1-0 going into the bottom of the ninth. 3-4-5 hitters due up for Tampa Bay, and they will face off against the closer, Johan Duran. One of the best closers in the game, Duran has only allowed 1 run in 6 2/3 postseason innings. He's 3-for-3 in save ops. Let's see if he can get another one against this struggling Tampa Bay offense who only has 3 hits this game. That starts with Wander Franco. 2-2 pitch from Duran. Grounds it sharply to third. Bohm plays the shift. Throw to first is in time. Miami 2 away from tying the series up at 2. Franco's still hitless in the World Series. The Marlins do not like to make things easy for child predators. Lau grounds it sharply to second. Jazz Chisholm makes the throw. There's 2 away. Miami needs 1 more, and it'll come down to the catcher, Alfredo Herrera, last year's World Series MVP. He's been hot and cold throughout this series. I feel like he's had some good stretches, but today, for example, 0-for-3. He's had some quiet games in this World Series as he looks at that pitch inside. Count 2-1. Again, we'll show the whole at bat here since, well, it's kind of a big one. Following pitch from Duran. Swinging to this. 101-mile-an-hour fastball. And the Rays are down to their final strike. It comes down to this. 2-2 here for Herrera. Down by 1 with nobody on base. Pitch from Duran. Fouled off. And Herrera will keep the at-bat and thus the game alive. Following pitch from Duran. Still 2-2. Got him looking on the 12-6 curve. This game is over. The Miami Marlins scored 1 run in the top of the first inning, and that was it for scoring. Miami wins this one 1-0, the 3rd shutout we've had here in the World Series, and we are tied at 2. It's a 3-game series now the rest of the way with 2 games in Miami. The offense did not have a good game whatsoever. 4 hits, 1 run, and it didn't matter. We witnessed greatness today from Edward Cabrera on 3 days short rest after pitching 8 innings in Game 1. He goes 6 scoreless. We know what Cabrera is made of. He has been a superstar for us. He's been the best pitcher in baseball this year. Over the last couple of months, he has not had a bad start. He's gotten a no-hitter. He won a Cy Young. He won an MVP. But this performance tonight triumphs everything he has done so far in his big league career. We called on our superstar pitcher to dig us out of the hole, and with no run support, he did it, only allowing 2 hits in 6 innings. What a game from Edward Cabrera. We need the offense to be a lot better, but I'm going to enjoy this win because that was a brilliant performance from Cabrera. Tyler Glasnow was pretty good. Looked shaky in that first inning, but really got going after that. The bullpen did a pretty good job, too. I mean, we only had 1 run and 4 hits, but guess what? It didn't matter. Our offense was bad, and the Rays just so happened to be worse. We tie the series up at 2. That'll bring us to Game 5, and we've got another pitching decision to make. So realistically, if we were to pitch Meyer, it would have been in Game 4. That option's probably off the table. We can go with either the bullpen game again with Jordan Hicks, or we can go with Sandy Alcantara. Alcantara would also be off of 3 days rest. Would it be fair to expect him to pitch a good game off of 3 days rest? Absolutely not. Just because Edward Cabrera just did it doesn't mean we should expect Sandy to. However, similarly with Edward Cabrera, Sandy is a superstar level pitcher, and I have confidence if we were to start him here that maybe he wouldn't throw 6 scoreless innings, but he would be able to produce for us. On the flip side, though, since the Marlins won Game 4, I think they've got a little bit more flexibility on how they can manage their pitching staff with Game 6 on the horizon and Game 7 a very realistic possibility. Kevin Gausman warming up for the Rays. He will start for them. Like Justin Dunn, he has not pitched at all in the postseason, but at least he's like super experienced and was part of Tampa Bay's rotation this year. There's a look at your lineups, and here's a look at the veteran righty Kevin Gausman. He's been around the block. He's been pitching in the majors for a while. 10-12 record in the regular season, 3.82 ERA, 1.18 WHIP. Pretty solid year, especially for a number 5 guy. And this is somebody who's pitched in big games before. I think the Rays have a lot of confidence in him coming into this ball game. Luis Robert up the middle with a base hit. Luis Robert at the top of the order today. I feel like with how he's performed in the postseason, he's best suited for the 3-hole, but he's done his best at the top. Here's Woody Landry, rips this one into right field. One hops off the wall. Luis Robert rounding third. The throw to the plate will not be in time. After not scoring after the first inning in Game 4, the Marlins are quickly on the board here in Game 5 with an RBI double for Landry. Bo Bichette chases the slider. Nice pitch by Gausman for the first out of the inning. So along with the Marlins getting an early run, they've got another guy on scoring position, and quite the opportunity for Alec Bohm. Bloops it into right field. It will drop. Woody Landry's going to hold up at third. I think he would have very clearly been out at the plate. So a smart call there. I think the Marlins have been pretty disciplined on how they've ran the bases in this series. Sanchez to third. Throw to second in time. The Marlins leave 2 runners aboard, but they get a run, and they lead it 1-0. Let's see who the Marlins are going to roll out with pitching-wise. Will it be a bullpen game, or will it be Sandy Alcantara? So ultimately, what the Marlins have decided to do is they will start Jordan Hicks today. It'll be a bullpen day. The plan is that Sandy Alcantara would pitch a Game 6, and if we go to 7, Edward Cabrera would pitch. With the Marlins winning Game 4, they've been able to space out their pitching the rest of the World Series. Arozarena strikes out on the sinker. Josh Lowe goes down on the slider. Good start here for Jordan Hicks. Ideally, the Marlins get 3, maybe 4 innings out of him. Franco flies this one into left. De La Cruz under it, and Jordan Hicks retires the side to kick off Game 5. Hicks has not pitched in the World Series yet, so this is his first Fall Classic action. Not a bad start for Hicks as we move into the second inning. Brian De La Cruz back in the starting lineup after only coming in off the bench last game. Rips it into center field, but Josh Lowe makes the play, and Gausman gets through the inning 1-2-3. A lot better than his first as we go bottom 2, still 1-0. The Rays still have not scored in today's episode. They had the shutout in Game 4. They haven't really shown much of anything here in Game 5 just yet, as Alfredo Herrera goes down looking on a full count fastball. Zach Veen now rips this one into the opposite field. There's a hit for Tampa Bay. It'll be a double. The Rays with a runner in scoring position, a pretty fast runner at that, and a big opportunity for the number 7 hitter, that being Matt Thays, who's had some big hits, especially early in the World Series. I think he's quieted down, especially since that big Game 1. 1-2. Swing and a miss on the fastball. Good pitch by Jordan Hicks. And he makes it through 2. He's looking good so far. I think the Marlins can get 2 more innings out of him. Top 3, here's Woody Landry. Drove in a run his first at bat, but he strikes out on the high fastball. Kevin Gausman really starting to pitch well after a slow start. Bo Bichette is now up for the Marlins. He's had his ups and a lot of downs so far in the World Series. 3-1, jammed him inside. That's a good pitch and a nice catch out in center field by Lowe. I thought that one was easily going to drop into his glove, but he had to chase after it for quite a bit. But he comes down with it, and through the middle of the third inning, the Marlins lead 1-0. We'll see if Jordan Hicks can continue his strong performance. And right as I say that, Isaac Paredes rips this one into left center. That one's gone. And the Rays are finally on the board. A solo home run for Isaac Paredes, his 3rd of the postseason. And for the first time in today's episode, the Tampa Bay Rays have scored. And this game is tied at 1. Big swing for Paredes. They needed that one badly. Hicks looking to get back into the swing of things as he gets Arozarena to strike out swinging. No pun intended. Josh Lowe hits this one into the left center gap. Luis Robert chases after it. He comes down with it. Not a bad inning, though, for Tampa Bay. They're on the board with a solo home run by Isaac Paredes, and we're knotted up at 1. Into the 4th. Jazz Chisholm leads things off, swinging a miss on the fastball, pretty much right down the middle. Blew right by him. Only 95, though. It's not like it was that fast. Alec Bohm now, 2-1. Rips this one into right. That one's looking like extra bases. That one rolls all the way to the wall. It's going to be a close play at second, though. The throw is in time. They got him. Good defense by Tampa Bay to not let him get the extra base hit as Zach Veen does the Mutombo finger wag. Sanchez draws a walk, so Bohm didn't even need to go to second in hindsight. That'll bring up Jacob Berry now, 1-2 with 2 away. And he strikes out on the fastball. Another really strong inning from Kevin Gausman. And we're going to be looking at probably another pitching duel. These two offenses continue to really struggle here in the World Series. Bottom 4, Franco down the line. Base hit. Finally, it took him over 4 games, but Wander Franco gets a base hit. He had to have started the World Series like 0 for 18. That's too big of a number for him. He would have preferred to start like 0 for 15. Brandon Lau strikes out. Alfredo Herrera joins him. He goes down on the circle change. I would imagine Jordan Hicks's leash is getting smaller, but he's going to look to get this last out here against Zach Veen. 2-2, swinging a miss on the sinker. Good outing from Jordan Hicks. He throws 4 innings, allowing 1 run. Really solid performance from him, but he's going to need some run support. Offense, it's time to wake up. Fortes with a sharp liner into left. Good catch by Randy Arozarena for the first out of the inning. That'll bring up Brian De La Cruz now, and he hits this one sharply into center field. This one makes it to the track, to the wall. It's caught by Lowe. The Marlins are hitting the ball well here in this 5th inning, but they're not dropping. 2-2 count now for Luis Robert. Pitch from Gausman. This one hit sharply into the opposite field, but it will be caught by Zach Veen. Another 1-2-3 inning for Gausman and the Rays as we go to the bottom half of the inning. And it'll be Andres Vina, the rookie, coming into the game for the Marlins. He may lack experience, but the Marlins really like him, and he's performed well in the postseason, only allowing 2 runs in 7 1/3 innings so far. He'll start with Matt Thaiss, who takes a big swing and a miss on the fastball. Good pitch by Vina to get the inning started. Isaac Paredes homered in his first at-bat. His second one, not so much. Grounder to short. Every time Bo Bichette has to make a throw, my heart drops for a second. He makes the throw here. That'll wrap up the 5th. Good work from Vina as we move into inning number 6. The former Marlin, Sixto Sanchez, is into the game. He hasn't allowed a run here in 6 postseason innings. Can the Marlins change that here? Their offense hasn't really shown anything to suggest the answer is yes, but you never know. Woody Landry, base hit to start the inning. His 2nd hit of the game. Woody now with 3 multi-hit games in the World Series already. That'll bring up Bo Bichette, and he takes a very late swing on the slider. He thought that was going to be inside. Then he saw it coming in and swung, but it was too late. Jazz with a grounder to second. Can the Rays get 2? They do! I'm surprised Thaiss didn't tag the base initially once he got the grounder, but I suppose that works too, and it remains tied at 1. Vina will stay in the game. He's somebody who can throw multiple innings for you. And he will start with Randy Arozarena, who hits this one high and deep into right field at the track, at the wall. It's caught by Jesus Sanchez. That was a close one. Josh Lowe rips this one into right. Sanchez lets it drop. He could have tried to dive for it, but if that ball gets by him, that's probably a triple. So he's going to play it safe, let it drop for the base hit, as Lau lines out to Berry, and that decision proves to be a good one. And the Rays held off the board here in the 6th inning as it remains tied at 1 here in Game 5 of the World Series. Somebody's got to score soon, right? Alec Bohm starts the 7th off strong with a single into right field. And the Marlins get an early base runner. Got to take advantage here. This is your opportunity to strike and get this lead back. Jesus Sanchez goes down looking on the inside sinker. Nice pitch by Sixto Sanchez for the first out of the inning. That will bring up the 3rd baseman, Jacob Berry. Rips this one into the gap. There's the play the Marlins needed. One hop off the wall. Bohm rounds 3rd, heads home. The throw from the cutoff man, well, there is none. It's an RBI double for Jacob Berry, and the Marlins lead it 2-1. Big play for Miami. That's exactly what they needed. Orelvis Martinez in as a pinch hitter for Fortes. He goes down looking on the changeup. His first World Series at bat. Made some big plays in the NLCS. That'll bring up Brian De La Cruz. Base hit into right field. Berry will be held up at 3rd. He would have clearly been out. Again, the Marlins being smart on the bases. 2 on, 2 away. Big opportunity for Luis Robert, who grounds this one over to 2nd. So Robert unable to make the big play, but the Marlins take the lead with an RBI double by Jacob Berry. They lead it 2-1 as we go to the bottom of the 7th. The lefty, Adonis Takadopoulos, is into the game. Just his 4th postseason appearance of the year. He will start with Alfredo Herrera. Rips this one into the gap, and the Rays with a quick answer. This one will go for a double, and Tampa Bay gets a runner in scoring position with nobody out and a prime opportunity to tie the game up. That'll bring up Zach Veen. Gets that one by Bichette. That'll go for a base hit. Herrera's going to be held up at third. Again, he would have clearly been out. With nobody out there, that's a smart decision to play it safe. Matt Thaiss up now, gets the knuckleball, grounds it past Jacob Berry. That goes for a single, and we are tied at 2 as Alfredo Herrera is able to score. Takadopoulos faces off against 3 batters, and he will be yanked out of the game. And it's time for Paul Sewald to pitch. The Rays have 2 guys on with nobody out in a tie game. What an opportunity for Tampa Bay to strike and get this lead. Jonathan Aranda, blooper into left. Bo Bichette is under it. That's a big out. Ball on the ground probably ends the inning. So this is a huge at-bat here for Isaac Paredes, who had the home run earlier. Count is even at 2-2. Goes down on the slider. Big pitch by Sewald. He needs one more out, but guess who's up? Randy Arozarena. He lives for these moments. What an opportunity for him as he looks at the inside fastball and is behind in the count 1-2. If the Marlins can get out of this inning and not allowing any more runs, that'd be so huge. Unfortunately for them, that's not going to happen. Arozarena rips it down the line. Run scores. It's an RBI single. And the Tampa Bay Rays take their first lead of the game and thus of the entire episode as it's now 3-2. Big single for Arozarena. Huge at bat here now for Josh Lowe. Count is full. 2 away. 2 on and a 1-run lead for the Rays. Lowe launches it into right field. Sanchez can only watch it fly. 3-run homer for Josh Lowe. And the Tampa Bay Rays have broken this game wide open. It's now 6-2. Where has this offense been? The Rays, who have done nothing offensively over the last, I guess since the entire series started, just put up a 5 spot here in the 7th inning. Sewald's yanked out. He'll be replaced by Camilo Duvall, who looks to get the Marlins out of the inning against Wander Franco, who strikes out on the cutter. So the Marlins score 1 in the 7th, but the Rays respond with 5. They lead at 6-2. In the driver's seat all of a sudden, headlined by a 3-run blast for Josh Lowe. The Rays are going to keep Sixto Sanchez in the game, and I honestly feel like this is a little bit disrespectful. Woody Landry opens up the inning with his 3rd hit of the game. But the reason why I find this disrespectful is that the Rays are not putting in their best late-game relievers. They want to save their arms for later games in this World Series. So the Marlins are going to try to make sure that those guys have to come in the game. Bichette flies out to center field. That's out number 1. Full count now for Jazz Chisholm. Low pitch. Grounds this one past Aranda for a base hit. Good start to the inning. The Marlins get 2 runners on base with a real opportunity to do some damage. And now the Rays are going to bring in the big guns. Jason Adam comes out of the bullpen. He's allowed 2 runs in 5 2/3 postseason innings so far, as he will face off against Alec Bohm, the most clutch hitter on the roster. Bohm has had a great game today. He's 3 for 3. Another hit, drives in at least 1. 2-2 pitch. Both runners advance. Swing and a miss. Throw to third is in time. The Marlins aggressive on the base paths, and it backfires. Big throw behind the dish by Alfredo Herrera for the double play as we go bottom 8. Duvall still in the game, starting with Brandon Lau. Grounder over to second base. Jazz Chisholm makes the play. Cannot let this lead get any bigger, that's for sure, as Alfredo Herrera goes down on the cutter. Good job by Duvall, looking to retire the side here against Zach Veen, who has 2 hits, and he'll stay at 2. Swing and a miss on the cutter. The Rays lead by 4 going into the 9th inning as it's a 6-2 ball game. 6 runs, 9 hits. Nice. The Marlins, interestingly, have more hits currently, 10. So the Rays are going to bring in Garrett Clevenger. This is surprising, being that his postseason ERA is 11. So this is the Marlins' opportunity to potentially do some damage. Ha-Sung Kim comes in off the bench for Jesus Sanchez because of the pitching matchup. And he flies this one into center field. Lowe is under it, and he will make the play for the first out of the inning. 2 more outs, and the Rays will lead the World Series 3-2. Jacob Berry is up now. He is ahead in the count, 3-1. Just got to get some base runners on That's not a base runner. It's a sharp grounder to first. Faze flips it over to Clevenger despite bobbling it. And now the Rays need one more out. It comes down to Austin Wells, again in as a defensive substitute. Swings and misses. Now he's behind 1-2. The game on the line. The Marlins looking to head back to South Beach with a 3-2 series lead. That pitch outside. The slider. Count evens back up at 2-2. The Marlins hanging on for dear life, hoping for a miracle. They won't get it. Wells swings and misses at the low slider. And the Rays win Game 5. They take a 3-2 series lead going back to Miami. And the Marlins are going to need to win 2 in a row at home in order to win the World Series. This game was kind of a weird one because, again, Tampa Bay's offense did nothing for most of it. But then randomly in the 7th inning, they explode for 5 runs. And that obviously ended up being the difference. The Josh Lowe homer in particular at the end really felt like the dagger. And obviously we were never really able to come back from that. So the Rays take 2 of 3 in Tampa. And we're going to have to win 2 in a row at home if we want to win the World Series. Again, we did not get enough out of the offense. 3 hits for Bohm, 3 hits for Landry. Where was everybody else? 4 hits for the rest of the team combined. Of these 5 games, I don't think the offense has had one good performance. The offense has got to wake up. The pitching, 7 out of 8 innings was really good. Hicks did his job, Vigna did his job, Duvall did his job, but in the 7th inning, we just completely fell apart. It just took a few swings for the Rays to really get some plays, and that's all they needed. Gossman with a good start, Sixto Sanchez with the win, and the back end of the bullpen shut the door. So with that, we are now down 3-2 in the World Series. We've got to win 2 in a row. Game 6 at home, Game 7 at home, and I think it's going to come down to the top 2 pitchers on these pitching staffs. Game 6, Shane McClanahan returns after his Game 1 shutout. He'll face off against Sandy Alcantara. That'll be in the next episode. Hopefully we win, keep the season alive, and if we do, it'll be Edward Cabrera in Game 7 on the mound against Shane Baz. Should be a lot of fun. I hope you guys are ready for the conclusion of the World Series, which hopefully will take 2 episodes, if all goes well. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Peace out.